All right, podcast number 10. We hit the number 10. What?
Double
what?
high five.
Double. That's like 2 hands worth of podcasts.
Yeah, 10.
Well,
10 since,
we've been able to
what's
hit.
the date we wrote down? August 26th.
26 is when we started. And we are rocking number 10.
10 and more to come.
More to come. Yep, we've got guests contacting us. We've been contacting some guests, but we hit number 10. It's cool. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. We were going to have
And when we hit
this
like
little
300
party thing going on, but
when we hit 300, we'll be like, yeah, remember when we were excited about 10?
right. Oh.
Yeah, no. It's early morning,
Well,
kind of.
it's late morning now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 11:22 a.m., but it's early for us because we normally do this in the evening.
And we just had breakfast. Taco Bell breakfast. Gotta have Taco Bell breakfast once in a while.
Without a doubt. So good.
So
Super
we're
fast.
And
the reason we're doing this in the morning, and it would have been a lot earlier, is I was supposed to fish a walleye tournament. But we had 14-mile-an-hour sustained winds with gusts tickling that 30 mph area. I don't know how that converts to knots, but either way, it would have been miserable.
And it's just disgustingly fall wet out right now.
Oh, it's pouring rain.
It's pouring rain. It's gross.
There's a little lightning mixed in
Disgusting.
once in a while.
It's a football day today.
It's a chilly day.
Chilly day. Ooh.
Like crockpot chili, not cold chili.
Yeah,
like
chili. Yeah.
I thought about that. I might make some later.
We talked about that, and today would have been perfect for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we are hitting number 10, and you said you had a song stuck in your head when I was getting the equipment ready to go.
I did. See, I was going to go back home and go back to sleep like a normal person would, but I didn't. And I'm scrolling through Facebook, and I come across... You're familiar with Ludacris, correct?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Have
yeah.
you seen the acoustic version of Move Bitch Get Out the Way?
No. Not that I know of. I mean, I might have.
We got to figure out... Maybe we could put a link to it or something, but... you know what? I'm going to just try this, okay? Just a guy walking around with his guitar.
Lights out.
Huh?
Nailed it.
I'm not going to play the whole thing, but...
Yeah. I like it.
It's groovy.
Now, picture if this would have been filmed or recorded more professionally, because it didn't sound like it was quite, in studio, which is fine. But
Yeah, okay.
I know my expectations are a little bit higher.
We'll talk about that later.
But
we have a little chat about
but
expectations.
it's good enough to the point where it would be cool to hear like that high
yeah.
HD version.
I think this one's a lot better than the acoustic Ice Ice Baby was really cool. Maybe it just was overkill for me after.
Yeah.
That's
a long
it
time
took
ago.
one person to discover it, and then I saw it like for 3 weeks every day, every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's a great jam, and that used to be on my playlist as a one of my playlists was going fishing. That was
Your pump up jam.
one of my pump up jams for
There you
like, especially when I'm at a boat landing, waiting to get on. Like, ooh, bitch, get out the way. It just sometimes it's fitting.
It's a nice little
Oh.
get up.
So that's
type
what's
deal.
stuck in my head.
Yeah, give it 3 hours and I'll probably start singing it to myself because I've then rethought of it again.
Yeah.
But we have 5 or 6 different things we wanted to chat about today, except for we also just kind of wanted to get up here because it was a crappy rainy day, and so
I'd rather
some of
do
this might
than just sit around and watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I love the show, and I've watched it all before, but I'm rewatching it because I have a soft spot for Larry David. His life is much like mine. I say something and it just falls apart.
It just falls apart.
Yeah.
Life crumbling.
Right.
But yeah, it's one of them days where it's rainy, crappy. We figured we'd just come BS and talk and hit a couple topics and just relax.
Just chill.
So one of the things that I was gonna say with that we got to give away that Lindy tackle, but I guess I haven't really posted on Facebook quite that. So I'll do that. I don't even want to talk about it because I'll do that today. I'm gonna post a Facebook thing about that.
Okay.
And by the time this video or this audio goes out, it's gonna be nothing to do with it because we'll probably already have given it away.
Right.
But we do have to give away some ice round stuff eventually.
Yes.
And we got a few of those laying around, some stickers, and
I think we'll do
I believe we're ordering our stickers like a year ago. We were supposed to.
Not a year ago. We just started this in August.
So we're
that
gonna
was
order
on
some
my
stickers.
list of rainy day things to do today. As I'm washing the whites later on this afternoon, I'll order up some stickers.
There you go.
The whites is a reference to the Big Lebowski.
We should stop in and get a couple fun clothes made up and just throw them up on our Facebook. See if anyone wants to.
How do you think a
dabble in
broken
it.
line oven mitt would go over? We
Well,
both like to cook.
if we get more into the cooking atmosphere, like we've been out of 10 podcasts, maybe 3 of them have had some sort of fun, not quite recipe, but just brings up food and
There's no
tells you about
recipe
food.
for a peanut butter jelly sandwich.
There is none. But we did it different by sticking the chips in it. We
Right.
also talked about with Rylander here, we talked about the mac and cheese eel pout that you guys did last year.
Yep.
We also talked a little about the Gordon Ramsay, and we kind of discussed on how to do that. And today, and we also talked about cooking game meat a couple podcasts ago, and now we have a list, or I have made a list, and you have made a list too. And kind of might as well just get into that. I mean,
Let's just go right into it.
for gamey meats out there, people always think, okay, there's the people that don't like the killing of animals, right?
Right.
And we deal with that every single day.
Which I want to say something real quick since you brought that up. If you don't like the killing of animals, I suggest you go to an Instagram page called Nature is Metal with an underscore after the word metal. And that is an eye-opener.
And for people who don't know what that is until you look it up, which is kind of a cool Instagram because the photos are super cool, plus HD, it's animals eating animals in real life.
Yes.
You're not going to find humans are metal and it's like humans eating humans, right? I mean,
No,
even though
no.
that was literally just in the news the other day, husband and
Your
wife,
in Russia
the
or
pies,
Siberia or
was that
whatever.
where it was?
Yeah.
Where they were cooking human and they were trying
Yeah.
to sell the pies to businesses.
Yeah.
Like what? Okay, so
Yeah.
back to this is like animals in their own habitat.
It's nature.
Nature, exactly, and they're eating each other. Now, I think I've already touched this in another podcast. I feel, or at least maybe it was just at the bar or wherever we've bantered about it, but the world that we were set down into, I believe we had everything we needed to survive right out the gate, right out the door. No
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's, no Applebee's,
Oh.
no grocery store. It was back, Native Americans back in the good old days when you had to go grocery shopping out in the wild.
Yep.
You have tobacco that grows out in nature. You have vegetables, fruits. You have plants that help with headaches. You have plants that help with sores. Put it in your cuts. You have the aloe vera plant. You have the marijuana plant. You have all this stuff that's just literally outside. You have asparagus growing. It's like, what else is out there that we don't know about that just literally is growing in the ditch that possibly could help something?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have deer, and you have bear. You have all the nature out there,
Rabbits,
which is food.
squirrels,
Why do you
mice,
think
fish? Yeah.
our teeth have the little
We have,
chewers?
we have incisors for
Yeah,
cutting and
for that kind of
slicing
stuff.
meat.
So now, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings who is vegan
No, I have
or
nothing against that at all.
anyone who doesn't like
I've had some
meats.
really good vegan meals before. You know, just because it's different, I was like, wow, it's loaded with flavor. And afterwards, I didn't have, you know, that heavy feeling like, oh man, you know, like when I eat a bear burger, which I love bear burgers, but like,
you're like, oh,
it's nap time.
yeah,
I'm done for
get
the day.
Netflix.
You got to like plan that certain part of the day to eat that thing.
So,
but
see, I feel like everything is right outside our door, and I think that's kind of why we weren't put on this earth, and they didn't say, go make an iPhone to survive. They put you on the earth and they said, everything's here. Go live life. But now everything has changed because now technology and food has changed. And then you got
20 minutes ago, we rammed Taco Bell down our gullet.
Ram Taco Bell. It's what it is. But,
yeah.
And I always tell people, you know, people go into some, I'm not going to say a spot, but let's just say a grocery store, right? Or something where, you know, hey, this chicken that you're eating from, again, I don't want to say KFC, but just from a spot. Have you ever drove by a turkey or a chicken plant here in Minnesota, because we're big into turkeys? I mean, you see a warehouse, and you drive by and you see the grate and it's open, and you can see just turkey on top of turkey on top of turkey on top of turkey, and they're just thousands in one building. Then there's another building, and then there's multiple places. You start to think, okay, so if you think going to the grocery store or going to KFC or something to get chicken, you think that is 100% healthy, no preservatives, all this stuff, and you don't like the killing of animals, but you're willing to go to a supermarket to get it, something's wrong. Because if you take a step outside and there's something morally good inside your body, if you do it yourself, you hunted for the family, you cleaned for the family, you are then going to cook it for the family. You did it all.
From start to finish.
There's something about that. Plus, that turkey that you just shot is living off of natural resources outside. It's the chain of life. There's no...
It wasn't force-fed.
It wasn't force-fed. It was...
No antibiotics. And you know why those animals need antibiotics is because they're living on top of each other. They're living in their own waste, you know. Yes, factory farming is gross. It's a necessity, though.
Yeah, with
because there's just too many people.
Too many people.
I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast, and he had Cameron Hanes on there, and I you know, when those two guys are on there chatting, it's always about hunting and stuff, and Cameron Hanes made up a good point because they were talking about the same thing we're talking about, and he said the difference between the hunting people and the anti-hunting people is that we don't ask them to stop being vegan, anti-hunting. They're constantly at our throats. We don't attack them for being a vegan. Just like we said earlier, nothing against vegans. I've had vegan dishes. They're good.
Yeah.
It's just I prefer to try to get my stuff from the woods.
I would rather say something like that than to have someone tell me that I should go to Walmart and buy it prepackaged from a supermarket when they don't even cluelessly know where that came from.
You know, the other thing too, like I see all this alternative food stuff, you know, like vegan bacon and this and that and so forth. And I always think of stuff like when we found out that you can't put lead in paint because it caused burst effects. Like at one time we were smearing that shit all over our walls. And all of a sudden now it's like, whoa, we used to use lead pipe. We used to use asbestos. We didn't, at the time when they were using that stuff, it was new technology. It was like, yeah, it's totally fine. So what I'm getting at is 20 years down the road, and you're going to be like, hey, you know that tofu shit you've been eating? Yeah, probably not a good idea. All that soy? Yeah, we messed up 20 years ago, and now we have, 8 different kinds of cancer because everybody's been eating soy.
That's because we
get on an idea, we just go with it.
Well, plus we make it. This stuff's in a lab. Like they're making this stuff. They're not taking a chicken and saying, okay, this is here. We don't have to do anything. They're in a lab and they're like, okay, we have nothing. We need to make a vegan bacon.
Where people have been eating deer, bison, and bear for hundreds and hundreds of years.
And again, this has nothing to, not bashing the
No.
way your lifestyle is, but we're just saying these couple different points to bring in the fact about properly eating what's there and what you can harvest yourself. And that's why I have a little list of different things that I want to go over for ducks, geese, deer, bear, and since we talked about crane with Rylander, I just wanted to mention crane, but you were going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say that,
And
technically
fish.
speaking, groceries don't have to be bought in a store.
Yep.
For sure. If, even if you live in the inner city, you can still get out.
We're in the top of the food chain. All the stuff below us.
You know why? Because
Is
they have
there-
thumbs.
Yeah, it's true.
Squirrels have thumbs too, but they don't know how to use guns yet. And when that happens,
We're done.
forget about your zombies. We're done.
Yeah.
We're so done.
When squirrels can use guns, boys,
It's
we're
over.
done. Run.
And they're gonna, because raccoons have thumbs. The squirrels are gonna talk to the raccoons,
Next
and then it's
thing-
gonna be like, they'll be singing, "Move, bitch, get out the way," and we'll be under fire.
yeah.
So
You go out
That's
hunting
what I'm
for deer, and
preparing
all of a
for.
sudden the squirrel's in the tree going.
Yeah.
Sitting on the tree.
if there's any movie writers out there listening to this, go ahead and write that up. Squirrels and raccoons taking over the world. I'll
I'd
let you
watch
figure
it.
out the title.
I'd watch it. And then you got flying ones, parachuters. They'll parachute in.
The flying,
Flying squirrels.
Yep.
Okay,
Red squirrels,
so
fox squirrels. Okay.
so and also one of the main things I forgot on this list right here is fish, and I have a few things for that too. But let's talking about duck hunting, since duck hunting just opened. Some people I'm gonna do this short, and I'm not gonna do recipes. I'm just gonna mention a few things that people can think
Put
in their
duck in
head.
oven, cook, eat, enjoy.
I want people to be able to go experiment on their own, but I'm giving this list so people don't sit there and be like, ooh, duck's too gamey. I don't want to eat that. Duck and geese, out of our most popular things, I think are the most gamey tasting.
Oh yeah, they're like flying liver.
Yeah. But there's so many different ways to properly cook them to take that gamey taste out. What?
Because I know you're gonna say it.
What?
Oh, you wrap it in bacon. You know what? Yeah, you could take cat shit and wrap it in bacon enough times. It's gonna taste good.
Yeah, well, that's one of them.
And that's another argument.
A few things for ducks that I have personally tried with a few different other TV shows I've been on, and just being a nature person. Duck stir fry. So basically, you're gonna cook the duck normally, pan sear it type deal. Get the you got to render off the fat and cook both sides, of course, and then to temperature. Duck. Some people say, "Oh, can you eat duck rare?"
Ugh.
Yes, it can, but that's a concern of people. They just ask that. You could do medium rare, but I like it more cooked on my goose and duck. Not to be that leather tasting or leather chewiness, but just a little bit different than I would cook a venison, I would say. So duck stir fry. So you're making a normal stir fry, like if you just look up ingredients on how to make a stir fry, and then adding that duck aspect with that Asian zing.
Just substitute duck for chicken.
And the thing
Or
nowadays
pork.
is, with going around to places and eating and stuff, I pop into places, and now we're cooking food down here too in the summer at the resort, and people are like, "Oh, can I get barbecue, ranch, mayo, and ketchup?" And nowadays, you get chicken strips or you get like anything, and what is the first thing we like to do? Put sauce on it. We're all about the
Right.
sauce. So nowadays, when you're eating food, the normal person starts to just get attracted to the sauce.
Right.
You're like, we were just at Fozzie's the other day, and we were sitting there having Fozzie's, and we had the deep fried mac and cheese jalapeno things, which is good, by the way. Anyone in Bemidji, Fozzie's, great place for barbecue. They the Fozzie's sauce.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just like, I'm not even tasting anything else. I'm just tasting that sauce. So think about it next time you guys go out to dinner or you're making your own dinner, think about the sauces you're putting on. You take
Right.
chicken, and all of a sudden you start flopping all this barbecue sauce on it,
Right.
or ketchup, or whatever you are.
Yeah,
ranch.
and I think we talked about it one time too. If we go to a place and there's like a new burger, or I'm going to go to a new place that I've never been to, and I happen to be a burger connoisseur.
Try it without sauce first.
I do not. If it require in my head, if it requires ketchup, you've done a really bad job at that.
The ketchup is that salty taste that everyone just, if you have a burger, I mean, you just flop it on and you eat it, and it's like the sauce is covering up
Right.
everything.
And I don't put sauce on any of my 209 burgers, Chop House burgers, Lazy Jack's burgers, Fozzie stuff.
The burger
The
should be
only
good
time-
enough. It's like steak, right?
Is that like if I go to like a fast food joint like Hardee's, good burger, but I still fire ketchup on
Fire
it.
it on. I love steak, and the number one thing with people with steak is they're like, a good steak deserves 0 A1 or any sauce like that.
Without a doubt.
But I can drink A1 sauce. I love it. That's how attached I am
You
to
should
sauces.
do that.
Drink it? Oh, I can drink it. It's very salty, but I can drink it all day. So
Challenge.
next episode, I'll have a shot glass of steak sauce, and I'll take it. No problem.
Gross.
But yeah, it's so off subject there with that duck stir fry. You make it kind of like you're going to make a stir fry. Throw the vegetables in there, the noodles, add some awesome Asian sauce. Next thing you know, all that other stuff is masking that gaminess.
Right.
And especially if you cook it correctly to temperature, and you can look online on how to render the duck fat and the sauce, how many times to flip it, and the exact temperature and all that stuff. That's all online. Give it a few tries. Try it out, and all of a sudden you'll be like, okay, so I have a 20-year-old son or 18-year-old son who goes out and duck hunts. I'm going to tell him to start bringing some of that stuff home. Pheasant is another one that I'm not going to cover, but pheasant, grouse, I'm not going to cover those in these examples right now, but they're the same exact thing. They're just think of all the stuff out there that is in the game department that is good.
Yeah.
And wasted sometimes because, and that's a whole nother topic we'll get on another day, is people wasting. Like, you go to a field and you see a full carcass of this or a full carcass of that, or you see a bunch of rough fish in the ditch, which I know you hate because you'd like to fish for those. That should be marked down for another one. But duck poutine. We were just talking about down at, you went to
Tim Hortons,
and you were like, could really use some poutine. Poutine is a gravy fried deliciousness, just as long as it's not too
with
salty.
cheese
and it's from a Canada deal. And again, duck poutine. Look that up, or look up poutine, and then add the duck into it. Same way with cooking the duck.
And I'd like to drop this disclaimer in there. Anything could be put into a taco.
Oh yeah,
With it doesn't fish,
taco,
bear,
duck taco,
grouse,
whatever you
mushrooms.
whatever you like to do. And these are just examples for people to just wrap their head around. Because some people might have been cooking duck forever, but they've never thought about doing a duck stir fry
Right.
or a duck poutine. Some people don't even know what poutine is. So but Google it. It's delicious. Duck quesadilla, also.
Quesadillas.
It's just exactly how you just said with a duck can be wrapped in, or anything can be put in a taco.
Right.
Well, you drop some quesadilla. And do you like Taco Bell's quesadillas?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Dude,
I
I've
was just
put birthday cake in a taco before. It's awesome.
There you go. So I was just talking with Anthony with Fish Addictions the other day, and he's like, dude, I really need to figure out how to make the Taco Bell quesadilla sauce, because I make quesadillas like once a week. And I just quickly bring up Amazon, and I show him that they have the quesadilla sauce for sale online, and I have it in my fridge. And then Mike's like, yeah, I think I got a jar in my fridge too. And I'm like, where have you been?
And he's like,
Because that's like the best. Yeah, he literally like kind of sat in quietness, and he's like, where can I get it type of thing. So now he actually snapped it to me the other day, a picture of it, and he did a quesadilla with the sauce. So if you were going to do,
welcome to the internet, Anthony.
yeah. So if you like quesadillas from Taco Bell, get the quesadilla sauce, which you can get probably at Walmart. I don't know. I Amazon shopping. I don't know. And then make a quesadilla how you would make it, but use the duck. Again, the sauce, the nice sauce in there,
I'm
the
already
veggies.
like ahead going like, walleye quesadillas.
Walleye quesadillas.
Breaded walleye.
Sounds good.
Put her in there, fire it in there.
Sometimes, dude, food is an art. Food is creation. What can you create?
It's
Change
a blank
it up.
canvas.
Yeah, don't copy other people. Go do something crazy, and you're either going to be like, that was bad decision,
Yeah.
or that was like This was all right. I've made stuff in my thing where I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. And then I eat it and I'm like, that was a bad idea. And then some stuff I make and I'm like, what did I just make? Because this is creation right here. This is amazing.
Right. Yeah, then you get all like Gollum-y, like, and like, I'm going to save this for myself. And nobody's ever going to see the light of day.
No one can have this.
Right.
And then last one that I have on here, duck egg rolls. Because
again, anything
in a deep
We've
fryer.
We've been sticking all kinds of shit in egg roll wraps, dude.
And I have done. It's also on my my Goose one too. I've done duck and goose egg rolls, and the endless possibilities of what you want to just put in there with that is endless. I mean, and it's add a sauce on it, and it's like.
Did you see that?
Again, duck has a gamey taste unless properly taken care of. Goose jerky. If you haven't ran into someone that's a avid goose hunter and they haven't made goose jerky, they probably have. Yeah, they probably have. Goose jerky is probably the biggest thing to make out of goose. And
I think
there's
I'm
so many
seeing
different
that
levels.
Same trend with deer. I know a lot of guys that like they'll take the tenderloin and then they like just grind the rest up and make deer sticks.
Deer venison or deer
venison sticks.
Venison sticks.
And I think it's just.
It's so good.
It's good, and you can take it with you. Yeah, and you
cheese in it,
and you can take it with you.
Yeah, take it on the go. I don't know how many trips we're on. We were just up in Canada, like we said in the last one, and Mike had a bag of jerky, homemade jerky. Just you get 2 pounds of it, and you have 5 guys. You're snacking on it. It's perfect.
That's good for you.
Goose jalapeno poppers. I mentioned it, I think, 2 podcasts ago. On the grill, jalapeno cream cheese or just cream cheese wrapped in bacon on the grill. Anything wrapped in bacon can't go wrong. Goose stroganoff. Making normal stroganoff like a pasta, but adding the goose meat in instead of beef or whatever you would like to do it. And it's good because if you like stroganoff, you cut up the goose in small little chunks. Make sure that it's perfectly cooked because you're cooking a little piece of meat that's not going to take long. And then you fire it in that stroganoff sauce, mix it all up.
Just fire it in.
Boom.
There.
Just fire it in there.
Done.
Goose shish kebabs. Goose, onion, pepper, whole works, grill, rotate it, spinning. Delicious.
Now, goose is kind of a darker meat, right?
Yep.
It's a little greasy.
A little greasy, a little gamey, a little tough.
See, lately, over the years, whenever I'm cooking like any beef or wild game, I've been adding fruit to my dishes. Like if I'm doing a ribeye, I've put apples in there and kind of just trying to get
the acidity down.
Yeah, just trying to add a little something to it, like a natural sugar almost. I was just wondering on your kebab if there would be an ideal fruit to put in with that, like I know duck and orange go together.
Yeah,
somehow.
That's true.
So maybe experiment with that. I keep leaning towards so you have your goose, pepper, pineapple.
Yeah. Oh, pineapple. First thing I was just running through my head.
Pineapple's another one of those ones that goes well with a lot of meat.
And does well with grilled.
And it goes good on pizza. I don't know. Lately, have you seen that? Man, the internet's just gone wild. This is hot, split, divided. We're a
divided world on pineapple go on pizza.
Of course it does.
Yeah, of course it does. Absolutely.
I put peanut butter on pizza, for God's sake. I'm on my own.
We're weird. Just live with it. Here's the thing, to kind of cut the subject here on the goose thing. If you're not experimental, if you're not weird, if you're not different, then who the fuck are you? That's just I almost just got pissed there for a second.
I saw that. Your hand is on your hip.
Go be unique. Don't be.
We're friends.
Don't
fuck. Turn it down.
Don't put your tunnel vision on and don't follow the sheep. Go be different. Go be unique. Go be someone else. Don't copy someone else's trend. Or of course I've done it before. Everyone's done it. But go
not
be creative.
Kill you. We just had this conversation.
God, we have conversations daily.
Dude, just try that. Put it. Eat the squid. It's not going to kill you.
Oh yeah, man. We talked about yesterday that Japanese video of that girl eating the squid and it's alive and it's wrapping octopus. It's wrapping its tentacles around her mouth and she's like, "Oh, that was good." Like, gross. But at the same time, I have cousins in Spain, so I've gone to Spain a few times, and they want you to try creative, weird stuff. They make weird stuff because we're factuated on McDonald's and Burger King. They're factuated on taking something and creating something weird and unique, and they like it.
I think where I draw the line, though, I mean, I'll try it, but, there's a big movement of eating bugs. Crickets and ants. What's going on?
I was just looking at the time.
Oh. And
crickets and bugs, well, they're good
grasshoppers. And I know, but I don't like bugs to begin with. And
kill it.
It would, they're already dead. Some of them are encased in chocolate. Some of them are just straight up, and I'm just
disgusting. Or the suckers that have worms in it, and those worms are actually full of great stuff for your body, but you're just like, good.
Yeah.
Where's Taco Bell?
I'll try it. I'm not gonna start adding wax worms to my Fruit Loops in the morning or anything like that.
Just something weird.
Yeah, that would
eat what the fish eat.
Yeah, no.
So Goose egg rolls as well, and again, Goose has gamey taste unless taken care of. Same thing. Deer. So a lot of avid deer hunters up here, and I bet you there's a lot of people out there that know a lot of stuff with deer because deer's venison, and venison is good just as a steak.
Even Arby's in limited restaurants last year.
They had that. The hunting version.
Running venison.
That was cool.
And they didn't have it here in Bemidji.
Yeah, we're all about it outdoors here. So hamburger, stroganoff, steak, jerky, the list goes on and on and on for.
I don't think it makes venison. Deer. I don't think it makes very good hamburger because it's not fatty. You need fat to hold your burger together.
It doesn't, but I've done it. Yeah. We've done it here at the house.
Did you have to add fat to it?
I don't remember. We have the big grinder,
right?
And I remember, of course, you're sitting it and letting it soak in salt water. There's all these things with all these different game that to properly take care of them, of course. But I don't remember. And maybe it was less fatty. It's venison. It's such a good piece of meat.
If you've ever tried to make a burger out of ultra lean ground beef, like a 90-10 or whatever, it just doesn't hold together. It dries out super fast. It just kind of crumbles.
Well, see, the thing with me is I like to make like a meatloaf burger. So I'll take mini version of my recipe. I do Worcestershire sauce. I'll take the meat, open it up, Worcestershire sauce, ketchup, honey mustard, brown sugar. I think I do brown sugar. Man, I don't know. I have it all. I have a cookbook. Right. When you think of a guy having a cookbook, for all the ladies out there, your guy should have a fucking cookbook.
Yeah.
If you are friends with me on Facebook, I post food stuff all the time. Yeah. I cook for my girl. You cook for everyone that you love to cook for. You cook for your daughter. You cook for yourself.
I'll like cook for a girl.
Yeah, he cooks for girls. I'm sure he has
tons for the props.
I'm sure he has tons of different food things down. I know I have some saved in my phone.
I got some on the iPad right here.
Yeah, he has some on his iPad. Cooking. Cookbook is always great to have, but I don't remember everything that I 100%. I put, of course, salt and pepper and a bunch of other stuff, but I put some weird stuff in there, like Worcestershire sauce and honey mustard, a little bit of ketchup, and I do all that, and I sometimes put in some diced onion, and then I mash it all together. And so even if I would take that venison, I put some egg goes in there.
Breadcrumbs.
Yep, those were another two. So once you get all that stuff in there, it kind of is a little bit more solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, fat. Everyone likes that perfect zip of fat in there because when you cook a steak, burger, anything like that, that steak juice, that just one of these again,
That's blood and fat.
It's good. It's delicious.
That's what gives steak any meat its flavor is blood.
Yeah, when people are like, ooh, it's kind of dripping. It's like, that's like a sauce.
Yeah, that's blood. You're eating blood.
So yeah, the list goes on for deer. For bear, now you're gonna jump in on this one, but I'm gonna say my two here because I don't bear hunt. We do have some bear friends, and we're gonna have possibly one or two bear people, hopefully on the podcast, and they can also give their rendition of it when that time comes. But salami, like the salami sticks, infused with pepper jack cheese, can be done at your local, whoever can process the bear, or some people process it themselves. awesome.
Even
though.
if you brought in the bear meat, there are some local, but you just call and ask your local butcher. Not
And
the butcher at Walmart or Target or none of that stuff. They just unbox stuff. You'll have to
Unbox and
find
cut.
the local actual butcher shop.
Yeah. Which I
You know.
think Downtown Meats and Stittsworth both would do. But I know there's a guy in like Foston that
Yeah.
does really good. A lot of people go out to him. But
Yeah.
that salami pepper jack infused, with a cracker and some cheese. Even though there's cheese in it, you can just leave it like that. But it's kind of a little. It's wet. It's damp. It kind of melts in the mouth. Last one I have written down: breakfast burrito.
Mm-hmm.
And like we've said before, the goose and the duck can also be done in this, as well as deer. We just had Crunchwrap Supreme. I had a steak one in mine.
Hey,
so a steak
we tried
is
something new. We tried the new breakfast salsa.
We did try the new breakfast salsa.
It was
from
all right.
Taco Bell.
It was all
It
right.
just tasted like
Salsa.
McDonald's. Yeah, because McDonald's is a breakfast salsa too. So breakfast burrito, basically like a steak burrito, but bear version. And I've never done it before, but I've heard it's super good. You can add a little bit of onions, a little bit of peppers, a little bit of cheese, a little bit of sauce, a little hot sauce. Wrap it up.
Slap it in the Foreman grill just to give it that little
seal of approval.
Yeah.
So you have you this summer with your daughter.
Yep.
You made venison.
No bear.
Or, bear. I read venison. Yeah, bear burger, and you just came up with this yourself.
Yeah.
And it was delicious, and I know your daughter liked it because
my
I
God.
remember her saying she wanted more or whatever. Like the next day, you guys were here or something.
Yeah.
But so tell me a little bit about a quick little rendition of that.
Yeah, I wanted my daughter to. She had never eaten bear before, and it was a pretty cool experience because we were, looking at bears, and then I pulled the thawed package of bear meat out, and I said, "Well, this is what we're eating." And she kind of looked at the picture of the black bear, and I said, "Yeah, this is what it is. I want her to see that." I've done the same thing when we've caught fish and kept fish. I literally, from the live well to the counter, she was right there. I cut it open, filleted it out. We ate it.
So she gets the idea that this is we did this. This isn't grocery shopping from Walmart. We came home.
And so she helped me patty up this bear meat, and what I did was I got the bear meat from a friend from back home. He gave me like 7 pounds of ground bear, and it was infused with a little bit of pork, just to give it a little bit extra fat. Because fat really it adds some flavor and it helps hold it together. And then I salt and peppered the meat, and I put in a little bit of sugar and dried cranberries, and I just pattied it out, and I kind of made a like a juicy Lucy. Yeah, and I put
favorite.
I put some mozzarella and pepper jack cheese inside, and we cooked it not medium rare, but more of a medium.
Which to me, I'm always that medium. I don't like it really red. I know that's the way it should be.
I usually do a medium rare, but with her being, she's never eaten it before. And it's not that I'm worried that the meat was bad. The meat was good. When you're preparing wild game, you're not worried about food poisoning so much as you are like a parasite.
As long as it was taken care of correctly,
right?
From
right,
outside
and
to
I've
inside.
known these people my whole life. They're avid outdoors people. They know what they're doing.
But
I wouldn't just accept any sort of meat from.
Yeah, and
anybody.
parasites is a big thing because that's, when you get something that like a farm raised type, tons of chickens, they're the antibiotics, all that stuff going through. You're out here in the wild, and it's like your dog going out and coming back with like 3 ticks on him. Stuff happens, so you have to properly know that when you're getting into it.
Exactly. Yeah, and we just pan fried them up and bit into them. Had that nice cheese core center, and her burger. Now she's 4 years old, and I tried to make her a small burger, but it didn't turn out that small. It was a good half pound, and she didn't
Destroyed
even
it.
talk to me. It's like, Dad, that was really good.
Destroyed it.
And then for like the next 3 days, she was just talking about. She told everybody she ran into, I ate a bear. She just thought that was so
I ate a
cool.
bear.
But I explained to her. I said, Ellen, as you get older, you need to understand that not everything is bought at the grocery store, Walmart, or Target, or Aldi's, or whatever. You can go out and
Grocery shop yourself.
get your own food, and I want her to have those skills. I think that's important.
So the other thing to say for the people who aren't from Minnesota and don't know what a Juicy Lucy burger is,
Oh yeah,
it actually became famous in Minnesota, down in Minneapolis. A couple different restaurants fighting
Yeah,
over
they're-
who did
yeah.
it.
the original.
So if you're from Minnesota and you don't know what a Juicy Lucy burger is, that's scary. But if you're not from Minnesota and you
Those
don't know
people
what-
probably don't have the internet either.
Yeah, and you don't know what a Juicy Lucy burger is a burger that has been formed around cheese. So once it cooks and it's all completely done, when you bite into it, the cheese melts outside.
Word of warning.
It's hot.
That cheese can be very, very hot. It's highly recommended to wear glasses. I've heard of people getting molten cheese shot into their eye. That would hurt.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, it can, and they'll tell you that if you go to one of these places that has something like that, be like, they'll set the plate down, and be like, the cheese is extremely hot inside.
Yeah, when you bite into it, cheese explodes outside.
Yeah,
Basically,
you're better
I've had
off
it
just
happen
to,
too, but
to
not
cut
in
her
my
with
eye.
a knife, cut
And
her
it
in
just
half, and
melts out.
kind of like when you have a Polish sausage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you
That
don't
shit-
poke it, you
juicy squirts.
snap and you get. Oh man.
So again, a side break on the bear stuff because I have two more items here. As we're big into getting kids involved in the outdoors, and him having his daughter, and it was important. I'm guessing for you. I'm just gonna almost answer it. It was important for you to take your daughter and take the time to truly show her or show any kid out there what that whole process was of
Yep.
from fish to catching to table to eating to cooking to cleaning,
Yep.
all that stuff. It's
Especially
important
fishing.
for them to know that stuff.
Yeah, and I've taken her fishing a lot. I've started taking her fishing with me when she was 2 years old, and she's seen me catch and release a ton of fish, but she's never seen until this summer when we brought fish home.
It's important to see that. Otherwise, they don't know. They
And
don't.
The other cool part about it was that she really, really got into, and I do this even if I don't have my daughter. When I'm filleting fish, I like to do a little biology, I, cut open their belly, their stomachs, and see what they've been eating. I learned some things, and it was extra fun for me because, so I told her, I said, we're going to eat the meat off of this, but let's take a look inside of a fish, and I'll explain to you what all this stuff is, and I showed her where the liver was and the stomach, and here's a little bit of roe. There was some eggs in these perch and stuff like that, and we cut the stomach open, and that's when she was like, whoa, because there was a couple little minnows in there, and
Crawdads or something.
there was some mud. She was like, Dad, is that mud? I said, that is evidence of bugs. They're eating bugs. So can you see what's happening here? These minnows are feeding on bugs as well, and the bigger fish ate the minnows. And yeah,
Food chain.
food
Circle
chain.
of
Yeah,
life.
and she just thought that was really, really, really cool.
Go tell that perch, hey, dude, vegan, or you're gonna have to go sidetrack. What is that perch gonna be like? It's like, what do you mean? I
Yeah,
can't.
we won't even talk about the relationship underneath the water.
Jeez.
There's cannibalism that happens there.
It's
Well,
unreal.
bears are cannibalistic too. That's why
But-
most bear hunters, and Tim will he's going to be one of our bear guests, Tim Humphreys. He'll tell you why they shoot the big male bears. Big male bears will eat
Can't wait to have him on
eat cubs.
because he does guide service. So he's bear and wolf and all that kind of awesome.
Bear, wolf, and eel pout.
Awesome. So yeah, he's a big eel pelt guy up here.
Top guy.
So the other thing I wanted to say with that kids thing before going into the last two things was, I talked to someone, and I don't know who it was that I talked to, but we talked about school, public school.
Oh,
Now, when you
yeah.
sit down, I don't know, was it you? I have no idea. When you sit down at public school, you are learning math science, history,
English,
blah, 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 blah.
grammar.
To me, to know history is BS. I don't need to know history that happened 100 years ago, because with Facebook nowadays and with
Today
the whole
is now.
with the whole racist stuff going around, I'm just getting all my history from them. I didn't know that the guy who wrote the national anthem had slaves.
Mhm.
I didn't know that some black people had slaves, but I'm learning that. So didn't learn that from school,
Right.
whatever. But when you rewrap it back into our kids and our kids going up and they're learning, the most important thing they're going to learn is the everyday life being at home, and you taking them out nature walking, or you taking them out squirrel hunting, or you taking them out deer hunting, you taking them out there and you showing them how to properly use a knife, you showing them what vegetables are, you showing them how to catch fish, how to tie a knot on a line, how to survive
Right.
is important.
And
What happens when electricity goes out and and all of a sudden the food truck isn't coming into McDonald's? All of a sudden the food truck, there's no electricity, there's no
Right.
gas.
And some people would deem this, well, you guys sound like doomsday preppers. Well, no.
No, we're just prepared to
We're just
survive on
honing
our
our
own.
skills.
You need to know how to shoot guns. You need
we don't
to
know
know
what's
how
going to
to
happen tomorrow.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that sounds paranoia.
But with the way the
paranoid.
world is happening with North Korea and Trump and all this other stuff that people are freaking out, it's good to know how to survive in your everyday essentials in what I love to say my own bubble. Like I said with politics and stuff like this, I live in my bubble.
Yep.
And you bleed into my bubble because we're friends. But I don't worry about what President Trump's doing because I live my bubble here in Bemidji, Minnesota with my own deal. And I don't let that ruin my life like some people on Facebook and all this stuff. But I need to be able to survive in my bubble. You need to be able to survive in your bubble. Your bubble's a little different than my bubble. But there's so many survival things out there, from fishing to tying lines to knowing what minnows, or like what's his face said with knowing, the weed structure. All that stuff is all survival.
And I guess it's just maintaining confidence in your skills and having that comfort of, you know what? It's just not a good day to go to the grocery store. I'm going to go to the nature's grocery store.
Yep.
I need that, and not only for physical health of eating from the wild, but there's a mental health thing. Like when I go fishing, I just recently went through a couple weeks of I think I had some depression, and we were chatting and stuff, and I finally got my boat hooked up and I started feeling better. I didn't even put it in the water. Then I went out fishing, and I just got away from all the bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just me, my fishing rods, graph. It was calm.
You and nature.
And I fished for about 4 hours or so, and I feel a whole lot better.
People take advantage of the nature that's set in front of them.
And some people do that through reading, and that's fine, but and art, and that's great. Everybody has to have that release, and for us that have that grew up outdoors, that's our release.
Mm-hmm.
That's our, you know what? I need to step away from iPads and all this bullshit and just go away. Because if we did this every day, I think I'd go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'd be like, dude, we got to figure out a way to do this shit out in the boat and fish while we're talking.
All we need is a generator. That's not loud.
Yeah.
Can be done. But, so to bring it back to the kids thing in this is that getting your kids, everyone out there who's listening, or the couple people, whatever, take your time to introduce the outdoors with your kids. Take your time as they're young, before they get older. Take them outside. Take them walking. Take them to go dig up some grub worms. Let them play in the mud. Oh, my God. Let your kid play in the mud. The 90s, man. We just ran out, and where's Aaron today? I'm 7 years old, 6 years old. Where's Aaron? Oh, he's rolling around in a fucking mud puddle outside. Nowadays, kids are like, oh my God, Xbox.
Right.
Oh my God, iPad.
Yeah.
What happened? Like, I just want to say this quickly. What happens when the electricity or the power grid gets shut off, and next thing you know, we can't, the gas stops being pumped, the food trucks stop delivering.
And this podcast.
And
done.
this podcast ends.
Wow, did you hear the tone change? He's like, oh, shit. I didn't think about that.
But what happens when all that happens? You got to be able to survive. And I know being that kids in school, they learn the essential things in the school situation, and every kid is treated the same, which is BS to me. As it's another topic, but kids taking a test and all the kids are based off of the same knowledge, like their brains the same, is beyond ridiculous to me.
Right.
Everyone's different. It shouldn't be that way. But you learn that stuff, but you also need to learn the outdoor stuff. The long broken line off that one.
Wow.
But I have two more things. Crane. We kind of talked about it with Rylander. Make it up like a chicken fried steak. Super good.
I've never had it.
Oh, super, super good. I was reading something online, and someone said, wash it, clean it, throw it away, and order pizza. And I'm like, you've never had it then. You've never had ribeye of the sky.
Wow. Order pizza.
Yeah.
To me, that's just the opposite. Order pizza, throw pizza in garbage, eat Crane.
Yeah. Treat it as a piece of venison. Potatoes, onions, grilled on the steak. It's not as gamey as like ducks and geese. Now, fish. And I want you to throw something in here, too. And this will be a 50-minute topic, pretty much. But I think it's an awesome topic. I absolutely love this podcast right now because we're cranking on food stuff, for one, and two, it's outdoor stuff. And there's some stuff that people just don't know. And I don't know. If someone has any way to cook goose, duck, deer, bear, and crane that I didn't mention, not that don't know, but I haven't mentioned, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, find Broken Line on Facebook and shoot us a message.
Hit us up a message. But yeah, fish. So, hanging out, everyone, deep fried.
Mm-hmm.
You put your breadcrumbs on it or whatever, and you fry it up. That's a typical standard thing to do. Different breadcrumbs, different flavoring, different spices, blah 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 blah. I know that from a standpoint of changing it up, again, this shout out goes to Anthony. He showed me how to do baked walleye.
Yes, and I've been baking my walleyes too.
And
for
that
a couple of years
just
now.
Melts in your mouth.
It's super
on the
good.
grill or in the oven.
There's no
pepper.
hassle of the hot grease. It's healthier for you. I think it tastes better.
He does like a buttery lemon pepper. I don't know all the ingredients. Sorry for not knowing that, and it's baked. Mm-hmm. So if anyone's out there, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sick of fish, or I'm sick of deep fried fish, or I want to change it up." Try baking your fish, adding just a little bit something different. And also don't forget, the cheeks of the walleye is an overlooked spot to some people, not to everyone. But a walleye has two cheeks that pop out, and they're just a little cube of meat that you pop in your mouth. Super good. So if you're ever walleye fishing, take the cheeks out. And also the wings, the bottom wings, can be taken out and nibbled on as well. If you're trying to use the whole walleye and you don't want to waste anything, cheeks and the little flippers down at the bottom.
In the wintertime, I know I've actually tried it. When you get those big fat jumbo perch that are full of eggs, if you could carefully cut out that entire egg sac, you can roll that in flour and deep fry it.
Eggs?
Yeah.
Walleye eggs?
Well, perch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could do that, I guess, if you wanted to do that with walleyes. You could if you got some that have eggs in them. But usually in the wintertime, those perch are full of eggs because they spawn relatively early. But, yeah, I've seen that recipe in Fisherman a couple times, eating a perch roe. Just roll that whole sack. Don't break it open. All those 100,000 some little fish eggs will be all over the place. But just roll that little baby in flour and salt and pepper and deep fry it. And I've tried it. It's good. It's different. It's texturally
definitely
weird.
Sounds different for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, oven baking fish. That's good. I've heard, and I haven't had it yet, and we should do this sometime. We should build a smoker, because I've heard of buddies that have built one and they end up smoking every piece of meat that they got, and they've smoked like crappies, bluegills, and they said, "Man, dude, it is bomb." I know that's pretty famous with trout, but you could put meat in any smoker.
We smoke some of the rough fish around, like suckers and stuff too.
Yep,
there's nothing wrong
carp,
with that.
Bullheads.
So yeah, smoking some fish, baking some fish. normal deep fried fish, but also fish tacos. You can get them at some restaurants around here. Um, it's a little bit different than just saying, "Hey, I'm gonna just dip it in some tartar sauce or whatever and eat it." Adding that cabbage, and back in the day, me and Jake did a fish taco recipe, and it's probably actually on YouTube somewhere. But it was like a homemade coleslaw type deal. I don't even think it was walleye. I think it was like a crappies or bluegills or perch or something. Tortilla shell, and then the slaw and the fish, and a little bit of like lime on the top.
Yeah,
it's good. I mean,
hey, you know what? To going out and harvesting fish or game is super fun, and cooking it and preparing it, to me, is just as fun, if not a little bit more fun, because you can do whatever you want with it now.
mm-hmm.
And it's exciting.
Plus, you
stuff.
don't know what happens in a restaurant's kitchen. I mean,
Right.
I've watched Kitchen Nightmares and Kitchen Disasters and all those TV shows where when they go back to the kitchen, you want to puke. It's disgusting when they have like rats and they have like mold growing in different places and stuff. It's disgusting. So why not do some of your meals in the comfort of your own home with an environment that you're stable with and you can survive
and you
with.
have the control.
And you have the control to do whatever you
Right
want.
on.
All right, we're done with food. Sorry it was long, but if you don't want, you could skip it next time. But
Aaron, you wanted to talk about the Cabela's Bass Pro Shops merge.
yeah,
that's official.
Super short because I haven't really looked into it a whole lot. I think $4 billion was it bought? 4 or 5 billion,
like that.
The only reason why I wanted to cover it because I know the owners of Bass Pro shops, and they're good guys. I have worked with them in some fishing shows, like The Habit. I did a little bit with them. I also have done just some stuff with pure Bass Pro Shops and Bass Pro Shops bow fishing tournament. I've done some stuff with them, so they're a good group of guys. Cabela's and Bass Pro Shop are the two biggest outdoor retailers out there.
Yeah.
They have
two major players,
a lot of money, and the merger I think was officially written up / complete / whatever a couple days ago.
And Johnny Morris actually went online and said, "Yep, it's
official. It's not just news floating around, fake or not. It's really happening, and they're doing it in their merger. I think again, Cabela's will be called Cabela's. Bass Pro Shop will be called Bass Pro Shop. I don't think they're changing the names. All they're doing is taking control, and they're basically how their last ad that I saw was bringing the two biggest companies in unitedly together as one, as a whole."
And I was talking with a mutual friend of ours, Trent. I cannot pronounce Trent's last name. Sorry, Trent.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah. Anyway, what he has heard and what he understands is Cabela's is going to be maintaining, because Cabela's hunting gear is in their hunting, just their overall hunting. Cabela's is more of a hunting store than it is so much a fishing store where Bass Pro Shops is fishing.
Fishing with a little hunting.
They try to do a little bit of the hunting stuff, like their Redhead line of hunting gear. It never really took off, but Cabela's hunting gear is really good hunting gear.
I think they're
the clothing
keeping,
aspect. And I think that's what he had understood, was that Cabela's is going to kind of absorb the Bass Pro Shop hunting aspect of things, and Bass Pro Shops is going to absorb some of the Cabela's fishing stuff.
I think that's what it was too. So Cabela's is going to try to get rid of some of their fishing stuff, but replace it with some of the popular Bass Pro Shop stuff, and Bass Pro Shop get rid of some of their hunting stuff and get some of the Cabela stuff in there. Be completely two different stores, completely two different names under one ownership, and united together to make the best branding of the outdoor company that we can, and
the right products and the best products to consumers.
And I will say, for everyone out there, the owner is not snotty. He's not uh, sitting at a beach house in Hawaii somewhere or owning a private island
Still
somewhere.
lives in Missouri, doesn't he?
Yeah, the Bass Pro Shop headquarters is in Springfield, Missouri. I'm sure he's got multiple homes. I know they have multiple resorts and multiple businesses, multiple golf courses, etc. But I just want everyone to know who's ever like, oh, $4 billion. Man, he's probably just some snotty, arrogant, never shows up type of thing. No, dude, this family is more involved in ownership, involved of being at different locations, and they're not just making their workers work somewhere else. So because it's been months, but now that it's officially done, I just wanted to quickly cover it because I think it's awesome. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
And congrats to them. It's only going to benefit us as it's because it's still going to be Cabela's, still going to be Bass Pro Shop, but maybe a little bit more different love inside.
And
that's
Bass
awesome.
Pro Shops is, not only do they have their brick and mortar stores and all that kind of stuff and online stores, but they also sell. I would assume that a good chunk of their business is done through the wholesaling. That, you go into your local tackle shop and you see, Strike King spinner baits and this and that. There's chances are that they've ordered it through Bass Pro Shops' wholesale program for businesses and stuff. So they also help keep the mom and pop stores, loaded up with good gear.
Mm-hmm. So congrats to the Morris family because that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you wanted to get on last time, which I actually think if you click on podcast 7, I think you had some more on that. The fishing apps, did you write down a list of them? Yeah, there's a couple there, so you're going to work both of them. But we wanted to talk another probably 20-minute conversation, which will probably put us to the end of the cast here, is maybe it won't be 20 minutes, but fishing apps.
Yeah, some more.
So you have this. We talked about photography. This is on you all the time, so you're out fishing. And what apps do you use? What apps do other people use? And I'd love for someone, again, to... The thing that I'm a little disappointed on is that people watch it and they tell us, oh, it's awesome, keep it up, make it longer. But I'd like we want to make this an interaction thing. So even though you're commenting saying, oh, I wish it was longer, or, oh, keep the content coming, fire off some stuff for us to bring up in a podcast. Get involved with us. I like to hear that stuff. So I want to hear, for the second time, asking the people out there, again, on Facebook. That's where we want to hear that interaction. Fishing apps. What kind of fishing apps do the people out there listen to, and what do you do for fishing apps? And I know not everyone journals, and I know you wanted to get into that too. So.
Yeah. Well, my number one fishing app obviously is Navionics. For $10 at the time, the time I downloaded it was $10.
$9.99.
Yep, and I want to just from Brainerd up. That doesn't include your big lake like Lake of the Woods. That's a different monster.
Yeah, there's maybe 5 different Navionics apps. Canada, U.S. version, a boating one.
So and I've got all these lakes now. Navionics app, it's good. It's not super accurate as far as their map data goes. From what I was told, they basically just used old DNR lake maps. And some of the lakes that I fish, the Navionics, there's contour lines there, but there's a lot of stuff that's not on there that I've had to draw using GPS waypoints, underwater, points, mid-lake humps that weren't originally on there. I've added to it. But I usually piggyback my Navionics on my phone with my Humminbird because I have a Lake Master chip in there. And there are some slight differences, but when I mark something on my graph in my boat, I mark it on my phone too because chances are it's an ice fishing spot. I do a lot of scouting in the open water for ice fishing. And sometimes I have my Humminbird head unit in my Jeep in the wintertime if I can drive on the lake. If I can't drive on the lake, then I've got that same GPS coordinate on my phone. Now, Humminbird just came out with, not too long ago, an app as well.
Mm-hmm. The Smart something? I don't think we have it written down correctly. But
I think it's Humminbird Fish Smart, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, I had it on my other phone.
Yeah. I had it and I ended up deleting it. And the reason I deleted the maps were great. You got to preview the maps and stuff. But they sold the maps.
I do have it. It's called Fish Smart by
Fish
Hummingbird.
Smart. They sold you buy each individual lake,
which sucks. I have 3 Navionics, USA, US and Canada, and Lakes North, and the Fish Smart Hummingbird.
Mm-hmm.
And it is crazy how you can bring up those Navionic apps. And actually, of those 3, I can go to my lake here, and they're slightly different a little bit, which means like, oh my god, why are they different if they're all the same program? So I kind of juggle between apps just to check a few different points and stuff like that. Now with that Hummingbird Smart Fish app, it's $9.99 I think per lake.
It depends on the size of the lake.
Yeah,
I think Lake Bemidji was $10, but Cass was $15 because it's a big body of water.
So I got the free app, by the way. I got the app and then bought my lake because.
How much was your lake? Do you remember?
I think it was
$6
$4 to $9.
Okay.
Somewhere in there. I bought my lake because I'm like, if that's the only lake I'm gonna get, I'm just gonna spend the $9 or $8 or $6, and I'm gonna get it. And I really like how the Fish Smart app shows me better stuff than the Navionics in a sense. Now, there's a spot that me and my dad used to fish like 8 years ago, and plate-sized bluegills, and we'd always sit there and we'd be like, okay, from that point, lined up with this house, here's where we are, because it was a sunken hump about 9 feet off of a thing, off that weed bed, 300 feet it looks like is where we are. And then we kind of lost it for a year or two. Like, we'd troll by, and it's like, we're at the time where you can't really see the cabbage down there, you know. So, there's years past, and I downloaded this app in the middle of the summer because someone showed it to me, and I paid the $9, and boom, the hump was there on the map. I'm like, there's the hump. It's not no other map. No other map.
Right.
Then I was like, I bet you that someone, used their boat, and they traced out the map within the last couple months or year or whatever, and that's the version I'm getting. So, but yeah. You have to pay per lake.
Yeah.
But if you're a type of person where you live on a lake or you only fish the same 2 or 3 lakes, it might be worth it to invest $15, $20.
They're great maps. They're beautiful maps. They're good contour lines. And from what I've heard, fairly accurate. Now, if I was a tournament guy, I would, and I know I'm going to be fishing Vermilion, Leech, Lake of the Woods, Mille Lacs, that type of stuff. I would go ahead and spend that money and just download those lakes. But I'm a small water guy.
Yeah, half the small waters aren't even on here. So
yeah, and even if there is some small water on there, it's like, man, I don't know. I already have it on Navionics and it works okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend $2 on just this lake map. Another app that I use on my iPad is Day One Journal. Now, I still know a lot of people that journal their fishing.
We got into this with Rylander last episode, is that the memories and the journaling.
Writing it down in notebooks and stuff like that. And I still have a bunch of notebooks at my parents' house where I can look back through the years and see, what was successful, what wasn't successful. I've just taken it to the iPad format. The other one was Fish Brain. And Fish Brain is kind of cool. Day One is just a normal.
Does that
journal.
have the map where you can?
Fish Brain also has a map on there, and I can literally put a pin on the spot where I caught the fish. I can add a photo,
info.
And then it's already kind of laid out. Water temp, weather conditions, wind, rod, reel, line, lure, description, that kind of stuff.
So if you're a person that kind of wants to keep a memory journal, or just you're kind of a nerd when it comes down to wanting to remember and know where this fish was caught, how it was caught. Because let's just say that burbot, the new state record burbot that was caught this past season here. It's now been however many months, 6 months or whatever, 7
Mhm.
months, 8 months, 9 months since he last caught it, whatever it is. Do you think that he remembers where exactly was at? Do you think he remembers what kind of line he had on? What kind of,
What time the fish hit?
what time the fish hit? All that stuff builds a map to better your fishing
Mm-hmm.
abilities.
Yeah. And, I will say with all the cool apps and the cool technology, iPads and phones and all this kind of stuff, I need to get back in the habit of manually journaling in a notebook, because this stuff can get lost, stolen, or broke,
Mm-hmm.
crash. Notebooks can get lost, stolen, but they're not going to crash,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, just get into making, not going to say a scrapbook, but making, just
A
a journal that says
Analog style,
and like
pen and paper.
like Rylander said too, you even if it didn't have much consistency of a physical thing anyways, you still write it like,
Yeah.
June 30th, 2017, I went crappie fishing. The bite was a bit slow. Weather was like this, whatever.
And God forbid something happened to me, and I'm not here, and my daughter's like, well, I remember my dad, but what was, my parents, her grandpa could be like, well, here, read these. This was a lot of what your dad was.
A fishing journal.
And
then when
I'm
she
not
grows
trying
up,
to
she could go there.
paint a doom picture, but, reality is, or life is life,
Yeah.
Or even when I'm way, way older and she's a grown woman and her husband's like, man, how did you know how to do all this stuff? Be like, read my dad's journals. He showed me everything I needed to know.
You take that, like we were just, again, in Canada, and Mike, we ended up fishing a spot that Mike fished back when he was like 13. It was like 20-some years ago, 30-some years ago, whatever it was. And just think of if there would have been a journal from back then to now, 30-some years later, we reopen that up and we're like, okay,
Dude.
This is where we went. This is what we caught. This was the weather, temperature, blah, blah, blah. Your daughter could take that, open it up, and when she's 20, 30, 40 years old, whatever it is, she could be like, she could take her kids fishing. She's like, you know what? Let's play a game. Let's open it up, and wherever Grandpa
Ed went.
that's where we're going to go. And you flip a page, said, all right, so her son or daughter, we're going fishing bluegills here in this lake, a dad's spot, here, grandpa's spot. Here's the coordinates.
Yep.
Let's go. It'd be fun.
That would be really cool.
That would be a cool deal.
That's got me fired up.
So, a couple fishing apps. Again, most people have the basic mapping apps like the Navionics or the Fish Smart, but there isn't a whole lot of, from what we've seen, apps that really are beneficial / really help out there.
Yeah.
And I know that for the journaling stuff, there is a couple other journaling apps as well, which is awesome. But if anyone out there has any other ones that's better, please let us know, because I'd love to download them. Also, I've met Eva Shockey a couple times, and if you don't know who that is, look her up. But she just came out with an app called In Season, and it is an app that you have to pay for. I think it's $10 a year.
Yeah.
And it's called In Season, and it tells you the regulations for your, the app shows a fishing pole and a gun and some arrows, but I looked on there, there's no fishing for Minnesota in there right now.
Not yet, anyway.
And I think it will update as it is, but if you want to know, like, what time squirrel season is, or...
Does it also have, like, out-of-state license fees and all that kind of stuff in there?
It doesn't right now.
Okay.
So I just clicked on small game, went to current location. It dings up and it says, okay, currently in Bemidji, Minnesota, there is squirrel gray, squirrel fox, rabbit snowshoe hare,
nice,
gruffled rouse, gruffled spruce.
Ruffed, not gruffled.
Oh, ruffed. Yeah. I'm like, what? Yeah, ruffed. Sharptail, jackrabbit, prairie chicken. For firearms, there is, and then another list. For shotgun, there is dove. And then you can click on, let's say, click on dove, and it tells you statewide the dates open are from this state to this state, and then they give you zones and current bases of where you can do that. So they have small game, big game. They have weather and wind. They have map. They have moon phases. So let's just do big game, and let's do current location. Bemidji, Minnesota right now. They're archery, deer and bear, firearms, bear. Click on bear, and then it says dates and times, the zones that there are dates and
that's
times.
Slick, dude.
So you can click it up and be like, okay, so the dates are this, the firearm is this, the field orange requirements, and it tells you what you're supposed to wear. Tells you the sex, the bag limit, the hours of operation, 1 hour before sunrise, 1 hour after, and then restrictions.
Okay.
And now, does this worth it to me to have? No. Because the few things that I hunt, I just kind of know. But if you're going to travel around and go to different places, this would be good.
Yeah.
But once they add fishing, which I hope they do, then I'll know what lakes have what fishing slot sizes and that kind of stuff without actually having to Google it.
Right.
But as of right now, it's I just want to let people know if there are big game or small game hunters, it's called in season, and I hope it adds
That's really
fishing.
cool. I have a cousin that lives in Alaska, and one of the coolest things that I ever got was he sent me down one year their fishing and hunting regulations book. I'd never seen that, and they literally are like Christmas catalog size hunting and fishing. It's Alaska, and man,
It's long.
for like a week I just poured through every page, and it is crazy.
If only there was an app that would help you
and that's kind of
limit that. Well, I see, because
Alaska is an entirely different monster. It's huge.
when we talked about the food prep on the other episode, I was looking because you asked if ducks have a breakup time of the year, and I know I feel like they did. I still haven't looked it up.
It used to be there was like duck season, and then it shut down for a couple weeks, and it was
does.
like designed to let some birds get through.
It does. There's something with ducks and geese around, something based around that, and off the top of my head I can't think, and I can easily look it up. But I went on here to the small game because I was hoping they would have
Waterfall.
duck and goose waterfall season. They don't, because waterfall if I could bring that up, and then if also I could bring up like a plot map that showed me where.
Right, and there's another app for that, and I cannot think of it.
Yeah, it's a GIS plot book
like,
map or something.
iHunt or something like that.
Yeah, they have
it's
a
an
few
expensive app.
But it's worth it to people that go
Right.
out and hunt 2 or 3 times a week, because then you know where public. So if you chase some birds to a field and you're like, who owns that field? You can pull up that app and you can be like, okay,
Right.
this person owns it. I'm going to go to their house, or I'm going to give them a call and just ask if I can have permission. But
I'm gonna look
that app
up.
doesn't
It's
have.
kinda driving me nuts.
I know iHunt is an app, but so yeah, that's kind of a basis of that. I wish they had ducks and geese, but
It's OnX Hunt is the one I'm thinking of. It's the first one that popped up. It's a GPS hunt.
so it shows you maps and plots and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So for goose and duck hunters, if this is the app that I'm thinking of in my head, that would be another app to get. What is it called? OnX.
Yeah. Let me pull that up again. Yeah. OnX
OnX Hunt.
GPS
And the
hunting app.
logo is a big X. And this
yeah.
is iPhone we're looking at right now. But
Yeah.
if you can see,
It's been featured in Field and Stream, Outdoor Life, and American Hunter.
so it's probably legit what we're
It's
talking
pretty
about.
legit.
So that way you can look at plots and see wherever those geese or ducks went, and you can go follow it and then move on. So that's getting into, I guess, a few apps for not only fishing but for hunting. So we kind of listed off 2 or 3 hunting ones, even though we're kind of more on the fishing aspect of it. But
Yep.
what you have written up knots next to that. Is that an app that shows you how to tie knots?
It was just going to be, there's a bunch
think
of
I've seen
great knot tying apps out there. I haven't really narrowed it down to one. I have one that's it's called 3D Knots or whatever, and it has a little video to
Shows
show you
you.
how to do that stuff. But
So for people that want to kind of learn how to do new knots or better knots or just master a knot, so when you're in a boat with 3 other people and they watch you tie one, you're a pro.
right,
There's apps for how to properly
you
tie
just type
knots.
in fishing knots and boom. And there's a lot of them that are free. They're really good. There's some that
Awesome.
you get paid for, and then I've noticed some of the paid knot apps. You get some stuff that you're never gonna want to tie. they're like saltwater knots and stuff
Just
like that. Like
hardcore.
just really crazy stuff.
And I know that some journaling apps are free, some
Mhm.
not apps are free. I know that some of the fishing ones you're looking to spend a little bit of money, but it's not crazy.
And the journaling thing too, you don't have to have a journaling app. If you have, like I have an iPad here. I also have Pages, which is Apple's version of Word. You can use that. You can make a template yourself and fill in all that information, and you can also add photos. So you don't have to necessarily download an app. You can use Microsoft Word if you want on your laptop, and then save it to a portable hard drive if that's what you want to do, or you can print it off and make it into a nice book. There's multiple ways to do that kind of stuff without apps if you're not into the app game. And then, like I said, old school, just pen and paper.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of everything out there for you.
Hey, you know what? I think there's some football on.
It is. It's looked. Again,
but you don't really care
nothing
because
to
the Packers already played.
Yeah, the Packers.
I wonder how that guy's doing. You saw that hit.
Oh,
right?
so yeah, the last the podcast where we were talking about NFL and NHL, the Vikings ended up winning. They did awesome.
Yep.
They crushed. Now, then the Packers played on Thursday, and they crushed, did really well. And then, they had a head-to-head contact below the chin, just terrible deal. The guy ended up getting suspended and all kinds of good stuff. Yep.
Yeah, man, I watched the
that.
slow motion replay, and dude, it looked like
it was
his
bad.
mouth guard went flying out.
Almost looked like a tooth. If you actually look at it, I think a tooth flies out too, or something.
I don't know, man. It was brutal.
Again, it was a cheap hit, and so I guess that's garbage. But so the Vikings are playing right now. But again, no one cares watching.
Are we gonna go
but
watch that somewhere?
Yeah.
Do you want to go down to the Liars Lounge?
15, 20 minutes. 15 minutes or so. And it's 0-0 right now. End of the first.
Right.
But again, no one's. So we have 8 minutes. Do you think we could quickly cover tools for safety tools for ice fishing, or wait until another cast because you think it's going to be longer than 8 minutes?
I think it's going to be longer than 8 minutes.
Okay,
so we'll just hold off on that.
The next podcast, actually, next might be a guest, but at some point we will talk about. And it's not even ice fishing season yet, but we'll eventually get there. We're going to talk about one of the topics I do want to talk about, and that is you joked about it. You're like, we don't even need to talk about that. But then we started thinking, we're like, well, maybe we should list it a little bit.
I guess just over the years in the position I'm at in the industry,
You're
it's
just used to it.
It's like, but it is important. I will never say that safety is not important.
Safety, cleats, chisels. I mean, there's so much, and we'll get into that when we get to it. But
we have a big thing coming up here this month where we're going to go down to
Eskimo Pro Staff Day. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm super excited.
First time there for you.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. And I'll be getting a new house, a new dojo.
Yeah, we talked about last one. What one you're going for? Going with?
It'd be kind of cool to, because I'm gonna tweak it, because that's just who I am. I'm like Tim the Toolman Taylor when it comes to that stuff. Like, stock is good, but I can make it better. Maybe we should do a little video series on tweaks.
Yeah.
That we could slip into this, and we could talk about on each podcast. Like we could, always have that little Patrick's Fish House update. What have you done?
Yeah, we can do.
First update will be
we can
add
a video series to this at any point.
Yeah, but it'd be kind of cool to do that.
I think like I said on our YouTube channel, as this gets going, there's gonna be videos that when we post on Facebook, we'll obviously post it on Facebook. Hey, check out this random video of us eating cheeseburgers, sitting down watching an NFL game or something. There'll be stupid stuff like that.
And we're talking about doing what we call microcasts.
Yep, we're talking about doing microcasts.
Some content for you guys to absorb, chew on between casts. Just
and
a little bloop.
We also might have guest in the field videos where we.
Yeah, he's all about.
But I almost want more. What if we just did guests? Like we just message someone.
Shoot me a video.
Durham, shoot me a video of
whatever you're doing
right now in the field, or whatever.
Right.
And then they just get thrown in, and we'll have a segment or something.
We just reach out to the people that have signed this table, and each each time we get a signature, before they leave the studio, we're like, hey, by the way, you'll be contacted randomly sometime.
Multiple times.
I
think it'll be cool every episode
we want
to have that.
like a 30-second video of what you're doing at that moment.
In the field with Mike Olson, and he's sitting there watching his workers dig a fence post or something.
Right.
He's like, it's windy.
Right. Yeah, I think that'd be a cool idea. We'll reach out to these people that have signed the table.
So,
it'll be so cool to get Al Linder's phone number. Be like, Al, we need a video from you.
As this podcast gets going, we're gonna have more fun stuff surprisingly pop up, and it's not just gonna be this, even in video form and in audio form, from our YouTube to our SoundCloud to our iTunes to our Google Play Store, which our Google Play Store is up.
Okay, cool.
So that's on there as well as there's a few apps that have us up there as well. I know one of the guys said, oh, you're also on this app, and we're like, okay. But yeah, we're gonna have cool stuff randomly appear. More giveaways. We now currently have 3 giveaways to give away, and 1 has already been done. We have 2 more, and those 2. Yeah. By the time this goes, did the
winner of the Fish Addictions hat get a hold of us?
Not yet.
Come on, Cody.
Come on. I'll eventually just shoot a message.
Yeah.
But fun YouTube videos, fun audio things. Keep engaged with us. Keep commenting on our stuff. I love it. Keep commenting. Keep sending us messages. Hit us up on our Instagram. Hit us up on our Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube. Subscribe to our SoundCloud. Subscribe to our iTunes. Subscribe to our Google Play. Download the apps. Just subscribe. Like us on Facebook.
And it's free.
It's free.
Just click. You know what? If you get annoyed, you just turn off the notifications, but you won't get annoyed.
It benefits us to have the love and support from you guys.
I have a
please.
ton of podcast subscriptions, and every morning it's like Christmas. I wake up and I turn on my phone. I'm like, oh, I got a little red circle with like 5 numbers. That means I got 5 new podcasts to listen to.
That's
I'm
awesome.
Super excited about it.
So get involved, subscribe, like, share. We've now officially hit number 10, and we're still thinking of cool ideas, things to change, things to add, people to invite, and more things to come. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be fantastic.
And I'm just excited about doing some stupid random like YouTube clips that we can drop in, or just YouTube stuff we can put up on our YouTube, different audio things where the microcasts, just getting more love out there, more involved, getting hopefully more sponsors.
Oh, dude, I would have had a great one while I was picking up our Taco Bell. They got a Taco Bell visor. And I was like...
Oh, they have Taco Bell gear now, clothes.
Well, I was like, the girl running the pickup window, I'm like, is there anything else? I'm like, yeah, you wouldn't happen to have one of those visors in back, do you? I think we do, but I don't think I can give them away. I said, yeah, but you know what? Life's short, and I have a visor. So obviously I like them. I think it'd be pretty cool. And she's like, maybe next time. I was like, oh, all right.
So we're going to try and get that hat for sure.
I want a Taco Bell visor.
You'll show up for the next podcast, and I'll have 2 of them sitting on the table because I'm a work of...
Well, you know people.
I get stuff done.
Yeah, he gets stuff done.
You get a McDonald's one, or I'll have a McDonald's one. You have a Taco Bell one. Whatever. Yeah. We like to have fun, and as we wrap up another long one, we covered some fun topics.
Yeah,
for sure. In the food one, I think we crushed the food as well as the apps, and it's good because we still have leftover for the next one. But
there's always something to talk about.
Always something to talk about. Well,
let's get out of here.
I'm Aaron.
I'm Patrick.
And this is...
The Broken Line.
It's kind of a really awesome name, right? The Broken Line. You're talking about fishing, but when the line breaks, man, shit just gets unreal. Yeah!